Welcome back, C9 followers. You are listening to The Deep Dive. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera.
We're here to really cut through the noise and get you informed about maybe the biggest strategic decision facing Australian C-level executives right now.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty focused. We're diving deep into that shift away from, well, frustrating, rigid, off-the-shelf software.
Right.
And looking at why custom development isn't just a nice-to-have anymore, it's really a strategic imperative.
Yeah.
Especially here in Sydney, with this booming economy.
We want to show you really why those generic tools are actually a massive long-term business risk.
Exactly.
Exactly. We've seen the sources and the data. Well, it's pretty compelling. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Sydney is, it's the engine room of Australian tech, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The ABS confirms the NSW tech sector pumps over, what, $100 billion annually into the state's GDP?
That's huge.
And we're talking explosive growth, over 2,500 startups, a 30% jump in new ventures just since 2020. That's relentless pressure.
And that pressure is precisely where the standard, the generic software just falls over.
Right.
If you're growing at that kind of pace, your standard tools, they become a liability almost immediately. They're inherently rigid, they can be surprisingly expensive to manage, and they often just don't get the nuances of the local market here.
It's often the local regulatory stuff that causes the biggest headaches, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Like if you're a finance executive here in Sydney, you can't just grab a generic international tool and hope it automatically complies with Australia's strict oversight.
Precisely. For finance firms, these systems constantly clash with APRA requirements, that's the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, and ASIC 2, the Securities and Investments Commission. And even basic operational things, like trying to integrate with local payment systems, say BPAY, often need these extensive, pretty costly workarounds.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Based on that Gartner data we looked at, if you're relying on standardized software, you're essentially betting against the odds. The 2023 report, it highlights that a stunning 40% of businesses using generic tools hit crippling scalability issues within just 2 years.
40%. In 2 years. Think about that.
That's a massive risk, almost a career risk for an executive.
It really is, especially in sectors that just demand agility. Retail is a perfect example.
Yeah.
Post-COVID, e-commerce in Sydney shot up 25%. That means you absolutely need a robust omni-channel strategy linking your online side and your physical stores seamlessly.
And the generic stuff just wasn't built for that?
Not really. Not for that level of smooth integration with local logistics or, that really granular localized inventory tracking you need here.
Okay, but the usual pushback from executives, it's always cost. Custom is just too expensive up front. We need to challenge that myth, right? By looking at the measurable, the quantifiable long-term advantages. How do I justify that big initial outlay to my board?
Well, the justification is really in avoiding all the bloat and embracing a much faster ROI. There was a 2024 Deloitte study. It showed the hidden costs of off-the-shelf software. The licenses, the mandatory upgrades for features maybe you don't even need, the third-party bits you have to tack on, they can inflate your total expenses by up to 60% over 5 years.
60%, wow.
Custom software just eliminates that ongoing mandatory financial bleed.
So you pay more up front maybe, but you escape that kind of subscription hostage situation.
Absolutely. And the efficiency gains can be almost immediate. Take retail again.
Yeah.
Inventory mismanagement alone, it costs Sydney chains an average of $1.2 million a year.
That's painful.
Right. But a bespoke system, one designed to track local sales data, predict regional demand, it can slash that waste straight away.
And that's where the big ROI comes in.
Exactly. That's why McKinsey reports custom tech projects seeing ROI figures of 200% to 300%, often within just 18 months.
Okay, but that ROI, it's only possible if the software can actually handle future demands, right? We know Sydney's population, it's projected to hit 6 million by 2031.
Yeah, a huge jump.
Generic software hits capacity ceilings fast, doesn't it? Especially when transaction volumes spike.
Oh, definitely. Scalability is just non-negotiable for future success. Custom solutions, they're built from day one with expansion in mind.
How so?
Well, they integrate natively with the major cloud providers like, say, the AWS Sydney region. That ensures they can handle huge increases in transactions or seamlessly support complex hybrid work models, whatever the future throws at you.
So it's built for growth.
Exactly. And Gartner actually predicts that by 2025, 70% of Australian enterprises will explicitly prioritize scalable custom software development for precisely this reason.
So the generic solutions really fail the future test, but Are these failures looking different right now across specific sectors? Let's look at finance and retail. They're really the backbone of Sydney's corporate world.
Yeah, they are failing based on unique industry pressures and mandates. In finance, custom solutions are, well, they're paramount for audit-ready compliance.
Okay.
And we see real, tangible benefits. A PwC report from 2023 noted that firms using custom fintech tools have cut their fraud losses by a staggering 45%.
45%. That's not just ticking a box, that's serious risk reduction.
It's protecting actual profit. And for retail, where the challenge is more around demand prediction and logistics,
Yes. How does custom give them an edge?
it provides a kind of hyperlocal advantage. Custom development can boost sales by up to 20%.
20%. How?
Because it integrates proprietary algorithms that predict demand using, say, local ABS retail data trends. And crucially, it integrates smoothly with local Aussie logistics partners, like Australia Post.
Oh,
It creates this flawless ecosystem from the click to the delivery that, standardized international software just can't easily replicate.
right. This brings us neatly to the process itself. If custom software is the strategic answer, then the process of defining it, that discovery call, has got to be the most crucial first step an executive takes. Why is skipping that initial chat such a bad risk calculation?
Because it basically sets the entire project up to fail on requirements. The Project Management Institute, they found that poor requirements gathering is the root cause of something like 40% of all project failures.
40%, just from not talking properly up front.
Exactly. Discovery bridges that gap between your high-level business vision and the technical reality of making it happen.
And you've got data backing up the value of doing that homework, right?
We do. Harvard Business Review analysis showed projects with a thorough initial assessment are 28% more likely to succeed, on time, within budget.
Okay, that's significant.
And clients who really engage in discovery, they see 15 to 20% higher overall ROI, simply because the software is perfectly aligned with their strategic goals right from the very start.
Okay, as an executive, I'm busy. I need to know what this essential process actually looks like. It can't be some vague, open-ended time suck. How is a discovery call structured so it gives immediate value?
Look, it's structured and it absolutely respects your time. Often it's just 30 to 60 minutes. We follow 4 key steps. First, initial alignment.
Okay.
Defining your immediate goals, your pain points, specifically in the Sydney context. Is it APRA compliance breathing down your neck?
Right.
Or is it about eliminating those retail inventory bottlenecks?
Right. Getting specific.
Second is the deep dive. Our experts ask specific, pointed questions about your workflow. For instance, we might ask, how do you manage peak hour inventory in your Sydney warehouse during the Christmas rush?
The details that a generic quote would just gloss over.
Exactly. Third, technical feasibility. We'll outline some high-level solution ideas, talk about the right tech stacks. And finally, actionable next steps. We deliver a clear roadmap, often emphasizing stage development, like a minimum viable product, an MVP for quick returns.
So you see value sooner?
Precisely. And this whole process, it's non-negotiable because it prevents that dreaded scope creep, the thing that can inflate project costs by 20, even 50% down the line.
That risk of costs blowing out scope creep, it seems directly linked to the biggest pitfall we need to warn Sydney executives about: indicative pricing. Why do so many people still ask for that quick, rough number, and why is that number, well, basically worthless?
It's worthless because it relies on really superficial assumptions. It ignores the specific complexities of your business in the Australian environment. Things like intricate GST compliance or integrating with specific local supply chain logistics partners.
Right.
There was a Forrester study in 2023 found that 55% of software projects that started with those hasty indicative estimates, they ended up exceeding their budgets by 30%.
Ouch. Over half blew the budget by nearly a third.
It's like guessing the weather versus reading a detailed meteorological report, isn't it?
Yeah, the initial guess is often just wildly misleading.
Let's use that retail example again for a real-world contrast. An executive needs a solid inventory app. Based on a quick, maybe 2-minute chat, a developer gives indicative pricing, say $50,000 to $70,000.
Okay.
But they fail to account for, I don't know, the specialized API integration needed for accurate Australia Post tracking. Suddenly, the true cost pushes up unexpectedly to $90,000, and it's late and over budget.
Nightmare scenario. So the discovery-based approach gives you control.
Yes. After a focused, say, 45-minute discovery call, we arrive at discovery-based pricing. It's structured. It's staged. We identify a critical stage 1 MVP, maybe focusing just on real-time inventory tracking. That might cost, say, $18,000, maybe 120 hours at a fixed rate.
Much more manageable.
And that staged approach gives you immediate improvements in stock efficiency, early ROI. The savings you generate maybe from that 20% reduction in waste we talked about can then immediately fund stage 2.
Ah, so the project pays for itself as it goes, almost.
Exactly. Stage 2 might add advanced analytics or perhaps supplier integration. You scale sustainably, using the savings you're making to fuel the next phase of innovation.
That precision, that control, that's the strategic difference, isn't it, between just guessing and actually investing intelligently.
It shows that discovery isn't just about, defining requirements. It's about providing predictable costs and enabling high ROI through phased controlled development.
So what does this all really mean for you, the Australian business owner or the C-level executive listening? Custom software development, it's clearly not some tech novelty. It's a strategic imperative, proven by hard data on ROI, on scalability, and crucially on essential regulatory compliance in this really competitive Sydney market.
That's definitely the conclusion the data points us towards. Custom software delivers the agility, the reliability you need to really thrive in Australia's unique environment. But let me leave you with maybe one final sort of provocative thought. If you successfully implement, say, a custom compliance module in your stage 1, and it reduces your audit times by 50%, generates immediate savings, how could you then immediately reinvest that capital into advanced competitive features?
Ah, like what?
Well, think about using those compliance savings to fund really innovative tools, like AI-driven risk assessment maybe, or hyper-personalized customer experiences, turning a cost center into an innovation engine.
That's a fantastic thought to mull over as you plan your next quarter, definitely. If you are ready to turn those frustrations with generic, rigid software into strategic, scalable advantages, well, we encourage you to schedule a free, no-obligation discovery call.
C9 is Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company, and yeah, we're ready to guide you through that essential process.
You can find out more and schedule your call right now at www.c9.com.au.
And please make sure you click that follow button and maybe share this deep dives with others in your network who need to unlock the power of customized solutions.
Until next time, keep optimizing.